If I was an educator in that realm, what I would want to share with these people is who you are and the way you express yourself and the way you interact with your world and the way you are of service to your world does not have to be dependent on your genitalia. But I think it is something to be brought up because, as Harlan was saying, there's a lot to learn from our experience predating colonialism. And this is one of those things that these genderqueer kids could really use. You know, it's like you don't have to chop things off or not chop things off or.
It doesn't have to come down to plumbing.
But so I think that this is the trouble that we always have in this presentation, because we're trying to translate something that comes from a very fluid perspective. We're trying to change water into rock. And it's very hard to do that translation. I think what we have to come back to is we were sex friendly, and I think that was fairly true with most of our cultures. People weren't so really concerned with these, you know, which category you fit into. What Harlan said in the beginning of this presentation about our responsibility to the community, that's what is critical. So there wasn't this rigidity there that, oh, I'm married and I have children. So the issue was, are you taking care of that family? Are you providing for them? Well, then if you want to come over to my teepee later, or your brother's teepee, not your physical brother, but you know, your friend's teepee, like, who cares? You know, it's not a part of fulfilling your responsibility, and it's not causing you to shirk your responsibility like those Pilgrim guys were working. And that was inconceivable to me. When he was telling that story, I was like, how could they let their work fall to the wayside because they were having too much sex? Number one, I'm not sure it's physically possible. But they didn't have Viagra. So, but I think that we have to be careful, and what I would ask you to do in looking at the tradition, try to just twist a little bit the way you're perceiving it and open for a little bit more diversity, if you will.
And I do have to bring up one term that I totally forgot to talk about, and that's the word berdache.
Don't use it.
Don't use it. We hate it. It was picked up, it's a French word built on an Arabic-rooted word picked up by the Italians, bardasso. The Arabic-rooted word means male prostitute. What is that, succubus?
Succubus. Succubus, I like that term.
Yeah, love that. It means sexual deviant.
Incubus is male.
All right, but I like succubus.
Dealing with Native Americans is such a messy
Don't
job.
tell them that part.
I have to. Because even because there's so many different, there's such a diversity within our nation, that the Navajo Nation, when you translate Two-Spirit into Dene, it means crazy person. So the Dene, or the Navajo, they refer to themselves in their own traditional term as Natale. And so if I know that there are Navajo people in the audience, what I say is the Two-Spirit and the Natale traditions, and I combine the two and I try to respect them so I don't call them crazy. Berdache is a French word by the French missionaries meaning basically a kept boy, a male prostitute. We don't like using it. And it was, the term Two-Spirit came into being at a Grand Council at the 3rd Annual International Gathering in 1990. And it was for the LGBT Native American community came together and said, we don't want this term, let's come up with our own term. And the Two-Spirit meaning a blending of spirits or something completely new or different. So that's where that term came from. And I forgot to mention that, I apologize. But I really want to thank you very much for sitting through this. Also to try to stretch, because it's so messy trying to explain this. And thank you so much.